just a little north of where the sunrise more or less is from this angle here, is associated with also with James and John, although for sure it's Peter and Andrew's home in Bethsaida, and Philip. They were very good friends, united by the common activity of fishing. And today we have a special set of readings because of James, two brothers growing up fishing, learning the trade from their dad. I must say that I have to think of my own life. I have a brother, Seamus, which is the Irish word for James. And then the Hebrew word is Yaakov, which gives us Jacob, which has ancient roots, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And there are two apostles, James, commonly called James the Greater, this one, and James the Lesser. And usually when there are two brothers in the family, it's a bit like that. One is older, one is stronger, one is smarter, one is all the different qualities that different people have. And one of the most important things is the transformation that goes on in life. And it's something today I just thought about. We should compare the two readings and then look at the result. And that gives us a lot of light about life. The Psalm verse also summarizes the whole thing. Two little brothers growing up learning to fish, to help their family, have their own little initiatives and dreams, projects, climbing trees and racing and playing. Our little project my brother and I had on the farm, we made our own little secret vegetable garden. We bought, with our own little savings, we bought vegetable seeds and ones that we hadn't sown at home ever, and we tried to keep it in hiding from our parents, but I think that was all discovered. But they kept the secret. They let us have our secret garden. And then we had leeks and radishes and other things that we hadn't normally sown at home. So we were very proud of that. Little projects. You see little children growing up, and what are they going to be? That was a famous series of advertisements of Cadbury's dairy chocolate, and the little boy inside the window in Ireland, and the Irish television, and the raindrops falling on the window, which wasn't difficult to film in Ireland, and the pondering and the musing of a child. And the song was on what's he going to be. Cadbury's dairy milk chocolate will accompany him. So I don't think Cadbury's will recognize this as advertising and will not necessarily compensate for this mention of their product. But what will they go to be? And we're all kind of in the same scenario. What will we be? And there's the growth from children to adulthood, to aging, to eternal life. And then there's the most important thing is not the aging, but the maturing. And if we look at the gospel reading today, we see a big fight going on. First of all, we see very clever ambitions going on with the brothers and their mother to get them the top positions in Jesus' kingdom. They're figuring out there's a lot of language about kingdom and a king and all the rest of it. And what's very interesting is that when we look at what Paul describes in that letter about the plight, the situation, the service of the apostles, it's one of affliction, persecution, and giving down their lives completely for their communities, very far away from home. Their lives completely given. And it's not like he's complaining about this, because that word ends up in this wonderful text of 2 Corinthians. It ends up with an extraordinary summary line. Indeed, everything is for you. So that's what they're doing. They're laying down their lives, so that the grace bestowed in abundance on more and more people. So spreading that good news, that gift of freedom to be accomplishing God's plan in one's life, and not a slave to capers and pleasures and vanities and greed, but to be free to lay down our lives like parents are for their children, because they love so much. It allows their freedom to give themselves completely. So the grace bestowed in abundance on more and more people may cause the thanksgiving to overflow for the glory of God. So there is affliction, but there's extraordinary glory of God. The whole purpose of human life, and the crowning of human life, to be singing forever with God, to be participating in His glory. We don't increase His glory, but His glory increases in us. And we help others also just by our example, by what they see, that it's glorious to be with God. It's glorious to love. It's glorious to lay down our lives for others. So I encourage you to look at those texts today. I'm very low on battery, so we'll keep it short and sweet. And anybody you know who is called James or Seamus or Jimmy or Jack, as well as the French version of Jacob, Jack. And so there are all those versions, and then you have the feminine versions of that same name, Jacqueline, and also you'd have Americans call women also Jamie. And so there's a wonderful parameter there to consider, that no matter where James was starting out and his brother John in terms of selfish ambition, their lives became a total gift to others for the glory of God. And do you want any dream better than that? Can you think of any dream better than that? People, God bless you. See you later, alligators. It's a glorious morning. May you be blessed today. Oh, we had lots of pilgrims yesterday, I have to tell you before we quit. We had a group of South Africans. They were here for lunch, over 30. I was so happy for the guide also, and for the pastors with them. And then we had visitors yesterday, pilgrims from France, Germany, Denmark, United States. I'm not sure if I'm missing somebody. Small numbers, but the reality is there. And a couple of guides were telling me that the airlines are coming back. There's still a lot of problems to be solved here, but we need to pray. It's problems outside of the scope of each one of us here in this conversation, but we can pray. And we can pray that the leaders will reach good sense for the sake of their people that are suffering so much. God bless you.